Welcome in to another episode of Chiefs Focus Live. We have a full show today, as per usual. We're going to talk about the injury report with some big names appearing on the injury report this week. Talk about the Chiefs' offensive line, our general thoughts on the Bills-Chiefs games, and with Sean McDermott potentially being on the hot seat. And finish the show off with a hottest segment on the Chiefs Focus Network, a believe it or not segment that will be so hot that you might need to drink some milk to cool your mouth down. And now two guys who are potentially in panic mode. It is JP and Caleb. Welcome
What's
in, guys.
up, fellas? How are you?
Thank you. You guys doing all right?
Yeah, man.
I think, and I'll give it my thoughts about this later. I might have a take that might piss some people off.
Fire away.
So we'll get to that a little tease, stick around for a little bit. But
you always have a take that pisses somebody off.
That's true. That's true. I'm just giving you my feelings. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong, but at least they're just my general feelings about it.
That's all that matters.
All right, let's head into the injury report because there's some. So starting off, this I think might be the week where I've seen the most players all year not play or not practice for multiple days. So we've got 4 players that did not practice on Wednesday and Thursday. The following names: Isaiah Pacheco, who appeared on the report with a shoulder injury. Brian Cook, which we kind of expected that just because of how brutal that ankle injury. I would have been surprised if he would have touched the field at all. But he appeared on the injury report. Donovan Smith was a guy that hasn't practiced because of that neck injury. He's been dealing with that for a couple of weeks now, but it really seemed to pop back up here in the Green Bay game. And Drew Tranquill is still in concussion protocol. Some other names that appeared up on the injury report: Patrick Mahomes is on the injury report for yesterday and today with a pectoral muscle. They are not specific about which arm or which pec that it is, so that could
concerning.
That could be something. It could be nothing. It could be something. The fact that he's a full participant obviously is good, but
it's his left arm, by the way.
The fact that he's getting treatment for it, not great. A positive on the injury report, though, which is not a thing you can say often, is that Nick Bolton has continued to be a full participant in practice both Wednesday and Thursday. So he's continuing to be more involved in practice. We know he was a full participant last week. Man, if he could come back and play against the Bills, that would be fantastic, especially with Drew Tranquill continuing to be in concussion protocol. That would be a great return for this defense because they could use a nice jolt right now.
Yeah. As far as Patrick Mahomes is concerned, it is his left arm, from what I understand.
That's good.
So,
okay, that's bad.
It's not a huge thing. We talked about this on Tuesday as far as Nick Bolton was concerned. From what I understood, if he has a good week, he is going to be. If he's not a full participant, he will be on a snap count during the Bills game, so that's a good thing in general. As far as Drew Tranquill is concerned, he's got to pass concussion protocol, which I believe he can probably get done by tomorrow. I'd like to see him out on the field as well because he's a force. No matter how you look at it, he does a great job. Honestly, as far as Cook was concerned, the first text I got was they thought he broke his ankle because of the way it looked.
That's
it was
brutal.
Too. I mean, I immediately this is what we all do. When you see an injury like that and they don't show it back on TV, you immediately just go to Twitter because somebody's taken a picture of it or clipped the video. And you see it in slow motion, and you're just like, God damn, that looks painful. And this is coming off the same day where that sideline Fox reporter or the Chain Gang in that Lions Saints game got his leg broken on the sideline. So it was already just a bad day for some of those brutal injuries. And to see Brian Cook, I mean, it did not look great. The fact they haven't put him on IR or anything, and that's positive. That he's still he's showing up on the injury report, because if you put a guy on IR, they don't show up on the injury report anymore.
No.
So that's positive, I guess. But
it wasn't been too bad then. The injury just looked worse.
Well, he's had work. Yeah, so he's had work on that same ankle in the past, and it was what they consider a flare-up. but the way
Okay.
it was folded, it's going to take a little time to heal. But I don't know if it's going to be 4 weeks.
Nothing
So
crazy.
that's why they haven't done that yet. So,
Yeah.
what's up, Philip? What's up, Will? How you guys doing? Glad you're here.
The injury that I know Caleb wants to talk about is the Donovan Smith injury.
Yes.
Because Donovan Smith, if he doesn't play, which is looking like that, Wanye Morris is going to play, which is pretty big news because he's a third-round pick that was supposed to sort of just sit on the sideline and be a backup guy. And he's going to step up into a big role. We know that Kansas City, specifically Andy Reid, doesn't trust, especially in premium positions, rookies. And so for them to be confident and to put in what is the most important position on the offensive line is a big deal.
When I look at that, it tells me a couple things. Number one, if they drafted him because they believe he can do what he needs to do in order to help the Chiefs reach their goal, which I think is huge and it's important. Because when you look at this, the Chiefs have done a very good job at drafting offensive tackles. A very good job. So I'm confident. Wanya Morris was a dominant player. I believe he was at Tennessee and then Oklahoma, I believe. He got drafted for there.
And Kansas City loves them. Oklahoma, specifically Brett Veach. I mean, this is the third guy. Creed, Trey Smith, and now Wanye Morris.
Yeah.
And those guys can play. So what this shows me is that they believe he's a plug-and-play player, which is huge. Because they don't do that for a lot of linemen. Now they have guys in the waiting and good to go. But I believe this guy can jump in and do what he needs to do and get to where the Chiefs need him to be. So I'm not concerned. I am curious to see what he's going to be able to do.
Look,
I agree.
And I know this is a conversation to have, later in the end when the offseason comes around. But if Wanye Morris works out, that takes so much pressure off of this team. Because if you're going into the offseason not looking for a starting left tackle, you are able to address some of the other future issues and now issues. So if Morris is able to be that guy and you're able to pay a left tackle on a third round rookie deal, man, does that make this process so much easier heading into the offseason. So this is a opportunity for Morris to, show that he can be a starter. And if Donovan Smith's only on a 1-year deal. So if you're able to sort of take that mantle and show Andy Reid, Andy Heck, and everybody in that locker room that you can be the guy that you can protect the $500 million quarterback, that makes team building in the offseason so much easier because you don't have to worry about a premium position and you can address fixing up the guys that are going to be leaving on defense and finding wide receivers and weapons for Patrick Mahomes.
And that's huge because if you can do that rookie contract, we're able to do some things we weren't able to do in the future. So I'm happy for that. I can't wait.
Yeah. And the thing is, I mean, it's not like they gave up the bank on Donovan. They gave up a pretty good chunk, but it wasn't huge, especially for that premium position. But
and
when he steps in,
deals.
Yeah, and when Wanye stepped in, he played well. I mean, really well. It was not like he looked like he had been playing for a while.
He gave up that one sack, but they were still running the ball to the left side of the offense. I mean, they didn't stop running their offense when he came in, which once again shows me that there's a significant amount of trust there. Because when you get a rookie, whatever position it is, right? When you get a rookie that comes in, you protect them a little bit. And they didn't do that with Morris. So maybe it's because there's no elite edge rusher on the Packers. And I would say there's not an elite edge rusher on the Bills either because Von Miller isn't that guy anymore. But
this is not.
You can, dude, it would make Kansas City's life so much easier if Morris is that guy.
Yeah.
Well, we might have that. They may have that dude. And again, rookie contract.
Yes.
Rookie contract. That's solved. It's good to go. The Chiefs are in a great spot. So I can't wait.
I will say this. You brought up a name that I love Von Miller as far as a player is concerned. But I brought this up on the Tuesday show, and then I asked a couple of people yesterday, but why? I even put a tweet out about it, and I'm curious. Justin Ross had all of his charges dropped. This is a guy that never even had a speeding ticket in his life. And then he's still on the exempt list. But a 3-time offender is going to play Sunday, and they're going to let it weigh out. So I asked somebody yesterday that's really close to the NFL and in their wheelhouse, and the answer was not what I wanted to hear.
There's more out there.
It pissed me off. Goodell hired a woman to handle these DV cases and sexual assault situations simply because of Deshaun Watson and the PR bullshit that he dealt with because he wanted to give him 6-game suspension and everybody erupted. So then it went to an 8-game suspension and everybody erupted. So then he took himself out of the equation and hired this woman to handle it and she's supposed to have full control over it. Well, if that's the case, I mean, look, she got Willie Gay for breaking a fucking vacuum 6 months later.
Yeah. So the frustrating thing about all these cases is that we weren't there. And I mean, I don't know what's going on.
No, but I understand, but here's my issue. This is what he said. His words were this, Caleb. You got a big name guy versus an undrafted free agent guy.
And again, and when we look at sports in general, bullshit. That's something that always happens. And I agree. In sports, that general, right's right and wrong is wrong. And unfortunately, the NFL's in a moneymaker business. So they can have Von Miller there. And again, I don't know what was going on. I wasn't there. But I am curious to see what's going to play out the next couple of years with these things coming up with the NFLPA and all those different things, because I think that's going to tell a lot depending on their next collective bargaining agreement, if they're going to be able to fix these issues or not. Again, though, it's going to be very interesting. So I agree with you.
Tyron's in. What's up, bro? How you doing? I agree with you, by the way. It's annoying to me because it should be the same for no matter who you are across the league. I mean, even if you're a coach, it doesn't matter. But they're going to let it play out for Von Miller, that's had this issue numerous times. His case, apparently, he was charged, and then the woman came up and said, "What are you talking about? That never happened." But she's the one that brought the charges. But the ones against,
I don't think charges were. There was a warrant out for his arrest, but I don't think charges were officially put in. Here's the thing, and this is just a general rule about sports and even life in general. Like, the inconsistency is what's so frustrating.
Yes.
Because if you're going to have a rule across the board, follow the rule. And
that's my point.
And I know part of the problem is that some of these cases, there's no one size fits all for any of these cases.
Gray area.
They're very touchy subjects. There's different people involved. Sometimes there's more than one party involved. They're so difficult to sort of put in one basket, and it's hard to keep it consistent. But on the other hand, it's like, if you try and you can try and put some of these in the same basket. So it's just frustrating as someone who is just a person to try and get this from the outside looking in to see these different things happen, and the way and how the NFL treats this so much different than every other league. Baseball treats these situations differently.
Yes,
the NBA treats these situations differently. So it is just so frustrating that the NFL just can't seem to figure this out. And as fans of teams, it's just frustrating when this stuff happens. But that goes with, like we were talking about earlier, and we'll get to here in a minute, just the NFL reffing, right? Where it's just, it's not the fact that a call was made or wasn't made. It's the fact that if that thing happens in a different game with a different crew, that flag is thrown in that situation. It's the inconsistency of it, because you're trying to watch a game or watch a situation and feel like you're going to know what's going to happen if that situation were to occur somewhere else, and it doesn't. So it's just frustrating to try and figure out what's going to happen. How can you prepare for this when you don't know the response to that, even though you've seen this happen multiple times?
Well, here's the thing. Okay, with Justin Ross's situation, and I know it well because I was the first. In fact, I brought it up when I asked the people that I deal with in Kansas, they said don't put much into it. When the 911 call came in, the question was, is there anybody else there with you? No. That was her answer. No. The next day, the grandmother came out and said, I was there and watched the whole thing. Okay, so honestly, the DA, 100% know this for a fact, did not have enough evidence and didn't believe that this actually happened. So the charges were dropped. Now he's in a diversion program. Okay, so that's great. He goes to a diversion program. Take him off the fucking list. He's been off this. He's been out of this. They were dropped a week ago. Take him off the list. Why is Von Miller getting any kind of special treatment? Because he's Von Miller? Who gives a fuck? If you're a 3-time offender, you need to be reprimanded, just like everybody else is reprimanded. Willie Gay, when it happened to him, first time a situation he had been in where he'd actually been charged or police were called for a situation of that nature. 6 months later, he gets suspended. That woman was higher on her horse when she got in there. Now, all of a sudden, it's, it is Von Miller. Don't do so much yet. And the Bills organization, in my opinion, I get that they're 6-6 and they're not playing well and they're probably not going to make the playoffs and all the other bullshit that's going on with them. And their coach sucks and he's lost the locker room, which we've talked about forever. But an organization should step in and go, okay, wait a minute. Let's look at this. He's had this problems 2 other times, once in 21, once in 2018. So let's not play him. Let's be if the NFL's not going to do anything about it, don't play the man.
Yeah,
you're making yourself.
The only team that will actually were to do that would be the Chiefs. If we're just
they're absolutely
the only team. In the
you
NFL
can't have people, and this is you can't have organizations policing themselves because they just won't do it, and that's why you're supposed to have sort of a quote unquote outside stuff. So yeah, that you're right. Agree. It's the inconsistency.
It is
that's the biggest problem here. Speaking of inconsistency, let's move on to this.
Looks like a jacked up version of P. Diddy, he said. That's pretty good.
I know Caleb had some stuff he wanted to talk about in terms in the reffing, and then we'll get into the Bills game after this.
The only thing I wanted to say is this. The NFL has a problem. They need to fix a problem. And will they fix the problem? Probably not. And because of that, we're going to get more people mad, frustrated, angry. I get these people are humans. I'm a human. JP, do you mess up every single day, make a mistake?
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Quentin, do you make a mistake?
No, I'm perfect in every way.
You're perfect. Okay. This in the background's probably not as hey, yes, he has made a mistake. We've all made mistakes. But look, we have all taken things
are married,
and made
bro.
sure
What do
to
you
fix
think?
things. You and Thiz are married. So yeah, you guys do probably do stuff wrong all the time. Quentin and I are angels. But here's the thing. The issue of the referee and the consistency and all that has just been bad. It's just not good. And all I'm going to say is this before we move on to talk about the Bill games is this. The NFL's a business. They like drama. They like when people talk about the drama. This boosts their ratings. It makes them more money. Now let's talk about the Bills game because that's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Hey, here's something really common.
It's already been played, JP. We're moving on.
No, let's talk about this little quick drama that's kind of comical. I was tagged in it by ML Football today. Taylor Swift said, I wasn't aware of the backlash that I get because I'm shown on TV, by the broadcasters. And her words, I liked it. She goes, I could care less if the Chads, Brads, and Dads are mad at me because I'm there to cheer on Travis. And you know what? I agree with her.
JP,
why would you get mad?
They need a Taylor Swift cam. That's all I'm going to say.
They didn't do it on. Look, how many times did they show her
Can we get a Taylor Swift cam like they do the Manning cast? Can we get a
do that?
Absolutely.
I mean,
we can do that.
Watch the game. Like, I don't mind if you show every once in a while, but they were just milking that for like 4 weeks.
They were.
Yeah, that's true. I think on the Packers game they just showed her once. So.
Well, yeah, okay. In the Packers game, they showed her once or twice, maybe. And then they
figured out we were annoyed.
Yeah, but they also went and then they showed Simone Biles 3 or 4 times because she's married to the Packers corner.
Simone Biles all the time.
No, we don't. But we don't watch the Packers all the time. The Chiefs are the most nationally
guess we're
televised team on football.
I guess we're just going against picking straws right now. That's all I will say. All right, let's get to
it
this.
doesn't bother me, but whatever.
I guess Quentin and I are just the old cranky
Swiftcast.
people.
Yeah,
He
Bills.
said the
That's okay.
Swift
We're gonna write
cast.
that
That's
down.
pretty good. We're gonna call one
Bills
that
Chiefs.
one day.
So we know that the Bills are a desperate team. They're sitting at 500. They have dropped many games, including losing to the Jets in the first game of the year, and have continued to look bad. They look like a bad football team at times. And this is a desperate team. This is a team that if they want to make the playoffs, they basically have to win out. They are currently out of the playoffs and are in the official rankings, they are the third team in the hunt. So they're the 10th team in the NFL in the AFC right now. This to me, this is not going to be an easy game, though. I think that the Bills are one of the most dangerous teams in the AFC right now for Kansas City. The Bills have come into Kansas City and have beat Kansas City multiple times in the regular season over the last couple of years. This is not a team that's afraid of coming into Arrowhead. They're not afraid of Patrick Mahomes or anything Andy Reid does, because this is a team that continues to fight the Chiefs' heart.
I
don't know
Quentin.
about
It's going to be a fight.
They've beaten us twice.
The last 2 times they've come to Arrowhead
that's multiple
the regular
times.
season, not
multiple
the playoffs,
3.
regular season.
A couple's 2.
No.
Okay, I guess we can split hairs again. But here's the point: like
my multiplication
the Bills
table
are
says
winning
that
animal.
it's 2 times whatever is a multiple.
Here's my thing with this. I'm glad. I'm kind of glad that they are in the situation they're in, and this is why. And I know this is going to sound probably weird to you. Josh Allen in desperate situations makes huge mistakes. And we know this. We've watched it over the last 2 seasons. What's up, Arrowhead News? Man, he's a cool kid. He's got his own little show. I like him. Got to go on his show the other day. It was fun. Josh Allen makes huge mistakes when he's under pressure. Huge. And that, to me, is a good thing for us. He's not been the same guy that he was even last year. He's gotten worse than he was last year when he said he was going to get better. Okay? If you take his numbers and you look at the stats since 2018, he has more interceptions than anyone in football.
Oh, yeah.
Now, that's not all. If you take that and you combine that with the amount of turnovers that he's personally responsible for, it's more than 3 teams combined in the last 2 years.
It's bad. And that's
last year alone, he was responsible for 32 turnovers. 19 of them were interceptions. But he was responsible for 32 turnovers just last year alone. He's not gotten any better this year. And he's desperate as hell. So I feel like, and we didn't have, even though our defense was great last year, we're better this year. And I feel like he's coming into this situation with that same mindset that he had last year. But I don't think he's going to have the same success in the air that he had last year against us. That's my opinion. I could be wrong.
Here's the real question. Are we going to get Josh Allen versus the Jets week 1, Josh Allen, where he throws 3 interceptions and just throws ducks all around the yard? Or are we going to get Josh Allen versus the Eagles, Josh Allen, where he's coming out, he's throwing lasers, and the ball is just landing where only the wide receiver can catch it, and they're stomping all over a secondary?
I think
that's the question, because he's a roller coaster. He's peaks and valleys. That's what he is. He is not. Josh Allen is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Okay? He makes a lot of mistakes. You can kind of force him to make those mistakes, because when he's having a bad game, it's bad. But don't get me wrong. Josh Allen is still one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and you have to respect that. The reason why getting a Nick Bolton back is so important is because Josh Allen is still effective in the run game. Josh Allen will put his shoulder down and will try and pick up a first down on a 3rd and 4, on a 3rd and 10. He'll run for that first down, and he'll fight for that extra yard and get it. Like, I know that the Bills have had their struggles, and a lot of it is for a lot of reasons. And some of that is because of the piss poor play Josh Allen has had. Okay,
Mhm.
but this is not a team that Kansas City is going to be able to just walk all over.
Oh no! This is their Super Bowl.
Well, I
This
mean,
is
you're right.
their Super Bowl. They're
You're
not
right.
going to
And
let
it
up. They're
absolutely
going to
could be a
fight us
trap game.
tooth and nail. It's always going to be
Yeah.
like that. Not
Yeah.
going nowhere.
Yeah. They know us fairly well. You're right. It'll be a playoff type of feel Sunday, and I agree with you.
It really will. I just, talking to coworkers, family members on the interwebs, I just feel like a lot of people are feeling really, really confident about this game and are just like ready to stomp all over the Bills. And I'm like, hold your horses. This is a team that has put up 30 points on Kansas City multiple times over the last couple of years. Yes, our defense is better now, but Josh Allen is still a hell of a quarterback. So this game is not going to be easy. This will be a close game no matter who you're saying is going to win.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
See, I agree with what Philip said. He used Willie Gay in coverage against Dalton Kincaid because, look, the kid that we were pounding the table for last year that we wanted is a Bill, and they're actually using him now. Where they didn't use him, the first half of the season, they're starting to really use him more. And he is a fucking phenomenal tight end. For a rookie, the kid is good. He looks like Travis Kelce at moments out there. And that pisses me off to no end because they basically got us back for the fucking the McDuffie deal is what they did. We wanted him in that draft. I know that 100%. He's starting to adjust to the speed of the game, and he's doing very well at it. He's running his routes better. He's picking up. He's picking up the game a lot better than he was at the beginning of the season, and that's why they pulled him for a little while. Then they put him back in. The Chiefs wanted him. Nobody would trade with them. Nobody would. I mean, Jerry Jones didn't even want to trade with them. And look, Jerry Jones was calling teams saying, "Hey, will you make a trade with me?" He turned down the Chiefs. It's frustrating because as we all know, Travis Kelce's still a 1,000-yard receiver, but you need somebody. If we would have just imagine, and I love Noah Gray, but just imagine Dalton Kincaid in our offense.
Be good.
Holy shit, how good he would be. I mean, it'd be insane how good he would be in our offense. Going up against Kincaid, the Chiefs could use Justin Reed in coverage, but Gay is better. He is a better fit. He absolutely is because he's so athletic and so fast. He can keep up with Kincaid, and the size of him, the size of Willie Gay, will help keep him at bay, in my opinion.
And this is why you need Bolton or Tranquil to come back, because as of right now, Willie Gay is your number one linebacker, and I don't want my number one linebacker dropping back into coverage for the majority of the game. Absolutely. I need one of my linebackers to keep an eye on Josh Allen and prevent him from
up a 3rd
and 7.
And no offense against Coltrane, he did good, but
he's Cochran, your fourth-string linebacker.
Exactly.
It's like no fourth-string linebacker is a guy that you can depend on for an entire 4 quarters.
But I give him his flowers for what he did.
He played well, and especially for the position that he's in, because he got the green dot, and so he was helping call defenses. It'll be better. He'll play better with a whole week, with knowing whether or not he's going to play or not. He'll get more reps. He has gotten more reps as your number 1 and number 3 linebacker have been out. But I still there's a reason that he's your 4th-string linebacker. I'd much rather have Nick Bolton or Drew Tranquil. Drew Tranquil leads this team in tackles.
Yeah,
he is the number 1 tackler on this team. Nick Bolton was the number 1 tackler on your team last year. Like, these are important pieces.
And the year
once
before.
again, against a big quarterback, you're going to need strong hitting linebackers, and that's what those two are. So it would be so important to get either of those two back. In a perfect world, you get both of them back. But you need at least one of those guys to come back, because I don't want Willie Gay, if he is your number 1 linebacker for this game, I don't want him dropping back into coverage a majority of the snaps, because I need somebody to watch Josh Allen.
He said that's a job for Leo Chanel to spy on.
Josh. Be a good job,
Josh Allen. Yeah, and that is a good. That's actually a good position for Leo Chanel, is to spy on Josh Allen. When you really think about the way he plays, he's kind of raw to some degree. Especially this year, it's kind of been weird. He's just been not as productive in certain situations. But that wouldn't be a bad idea to have him as a spy on Allen. But having both of those guys back would be huge. I look, I understand that Tranquil got the concussion. I don't
I
think it's
hope
going to keep
so.
him out of this. Well, no, I'm saying I don't
Because
think it was.
if you didn't, you might have the concussion.
Yeah, well, yeah, I've had a few, but I don't think it was a. I don't think it was bad enough that it would keep him out for a game.
Concussions are just one of those things
They
where
are weird.
you know you could
They
feel,
are weird.
You could feel nothing on the first day, and then you wake up the next day and you're showing
Oh, I know.
symptoms. Or
Yeah.
it's one of those things where you have symptoms right away, but in 30 minutes, 45 minutes, you're feeling so much better. I mean, the brain is a funny thing, and when you get some blood hanging out around it, it really freaks the fuck out.
It really does, and it
That's
tells you things
my
that,
medical professional right there. I play a doctor on TV.
he was on Scrubs for a while.
Yeah, I was.
I
was the attractive one.
Yeah, he was the guy with the beard.
Yeah.
Tyrant says,
But not
"I didn't
George
realize
Clooney.
Tranquil." Yeah, he said he didn't realize he led the team in tackles. Yeah, he does actually. Because of the fact that Nick Bolton's been out for 2 months. That's why. But he's also fucking phenomenal. I mean, he's one of the best linebackers in football, which is more insane the fact that he was released by the shit team that released him. But regardless, or didn't pick him back up. But regardless, it would be, in my opinion, as far as Drew Tranquil is concerned, I would feel like this would be the week that he would. I don't know if it was the concussion that he got it in the side of the head.
He got hit in the head, like the knee hit the helmet, something.
Knee hit the
like
helmet,
that.
yeah. And sometimes, I mean, I've had concussions, a few, and like
And
Quentin said, there's times that, yeah, I mean, I had one yesterday. No, there's times that I went 3 days one time, and I thought I was fine. I had a headache the first day. The third day, my vision was blurred. So it really depends on how where you're hit and how hard you were hit. And you're right. Blood getting around, blood and swelling to the brain is not a good thing. It's not like, stubbing your toe. But I feel like he's going to, I just have this weird feeling he's going to pass concussion protocol and be out there. I'm not, I'm hoping. Nick Bolton, I believe, is going to play. I wanted to say this earlier. Andy told somebody that I deal with that if he practices the way he did last week, this week, or progresses this week, he will play in this game. So don't be surprised if Nick Bolton's not out on the field, and maybe a lot. It really depends on Tranquil's situation, but he may be out there a lot more than you expect. And he's been practicing very well. I do know that.
Okay.
So it's going to be fun. Do you have the Chargers? The Bills injury list by any chance?
I do.
Let's hear it really quick.
Well, Josh Allen is on it. Now, they didn't have everybody on the injury report for them is a full participant. So there's nobody that the only person that didn't practice and then practice today is Von Miller. But Josh Allen was on the report with a right shoulder injury. But like I said, he practiced Wednesday and Thursday. Other than that, like Dalton Kincaid had a thumb injury, but practiced on Wednesday and today. So
these little small things.
Yeah, there's some small things on there, but nobody.
I don't know if that Josh Allen thing is such a small thing. That's his throwing arm, and I watched that game when he got hurt, and then when he did, he came down on it, and they came down on him. So I don't know if that was. You're right. Tranquil was a steal. The Chargers are stupid. What do you expect?
I told you all. The linebacking core on this team is deep. It is good, and we will look back and Drew Tranquil.
It's the best in the freaking league.
Yeah.
The Drew Tranquil signing will go down as the most underrated signing of the offseason.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Absolutely. I agree with you. But anyway, I think that injury to Josh Allen's arm may hamper him a little bit, especially the fact that he is practicing. If he takes a good hit in that arm, which he very well could, it may flare right back up on him again. And I know he's kind of like Mahomes. He just wants to be out there. He wants to play. He'll try to play through the pain, all that shit. And that's fine if that's what you want to do. given the fact that your season's over or potentially over, I understand because this would be the first year that they don't make the playoffs with Josh Allen in the system.
Yeah.
So that would be a rough ride if they don't make it. He said, my wife just sent me a stat. Noah Gray has been targeted 27 times and has no drops. And that's absolutely 100% true. And here's my problem with that, Tyron. If you watch any of our shows and go back and watch any of our shows, I lost my absolute ever-loving concussioned mind on this show after a loss to the fucking Broncos because we have not used Noah Gray nearly as much this season, and there's no reason not to use him. He's not injured. He's not old. He is in great condition. Put the man out on the fucking field. But they've yet to do that, and it irritates me beyond belief. I mean, we have seen this 4 times, and then I'm going to get off this rant because I did this Tuesday, and it pisses me off, so I'm going to do it again. There's been 4 games that we have had the right package on the field, and all 4 of those games we scored 30-plus points and we beat the dog crap out of people. But then you turn around and you put the wrong packages together and you leave guys. Look, Raiders game, Noah Gray was out on the field. Man, he looked fucking good. He was out there a lot, catching balls, making blocks, running decoy, doing all this shit that he does to make this team click. And then what do we do against the Packers? Where the fuck was he at? Non-existent. Non-existent on the field. Wait a minute. There's another guy that was non-existent during the Packers game. That was Justin Watson. Why? He's not injured. There's nothing wrong with him. Get him out there and let him catch the ball. When those guys are on the field, it's not just the fact that they can catch, but they're decoys for everyone else. You got a rookie leading your team in receptions. I mean, and I'm not taking anything away from him because he's a great wide receiver. He's had a couple of drops, but for Christ's sake, can you imagine what it would be like if he was out there, on the outside and you had Tony on the inside on one side, and then you had Drew Tranquil and Travis Kelce out there as well, and then you also had Justin Watson? That's what we do when we win. But they have yet to figure that out, that actually works. And that would work with any team.
Through Pacheco, Kelce, and Rice, and you get a nice sprinkle on top of Watson and
Noah
Gray, and that's pretty much who I want touching the football. And if for some reason, if Kadarius Toney decides that his foot doesn't hurt, maybe he can play. Well,
we may not have him, but I have a feeling they're keeping him out for precautionary reasons, Philip. I don't know that he's not going to play. That kid, he plays through a lot. He's got a shoulder injury, but he plays through a lot. I think from what I've understood, they're keeping him out for precautionary reasons. So let's hope he's going to play. And if it's McKinnon, he's practicing. I'm okay with McKinnon being there. Look, he's our best red zone threat. We've yet to use him a lot in the red zone all year long. He's been in the red zone, I think, 6 times in 12 games. 6 times. It makes no sense to me. I get he's older, but if you're only going to use him in third down situations or red zone threats, then put his ass out there. That's what he's here for. You didn't re-sign him to sit his ass all year long. That's not why he's here. You re-signed him because he led the league last year as a running back and made NFL history with 8 consecutive touchdowns as a wide receiver or in the passing game and had 10 total. Why the fuck? I'm blown away at some of this, and it's frustrating to me.
Yeah, well, I know that he did get injured.
Who?
McKinnon.
Yeah, I know, but I understand that, but he wasn't injured prior to that. He just got injured
even last year, they weren't using him early in the season. They
They started about week 7.
Yeah,
is when they really started. It was about week 7, and that's why he did what he did.
Right.
This year they didn't do that. I don't know. It's just confusing to me. You have the personnel to be able to make this work, and I don't want to see the spread offense right now. I guess that's what I'm trying to get at. This is not, even though it's relatively the same football team that we had last year, with the exception of Juju. the spread offense is not working for us right now because they're not using the right people in spread offense. So target the guys you know are going to play and catch the ball and put them out on the field. They're playing MVS a lot because they're paying him more than all of our wide receivers combined. I get that. That's Brett Veach. That's business. He's not a horrible player. It's just, it's hard to get open, very hard to get open when you have one guy making mistakes. Sky Moore, sorry, didn't mean to throw that out there. Don't know where it came from. Just flew out of my mouth. But it's no different than it is on the defense. If you have one person make a mistake, it throws everybody else off. You can't run the wrong routes. Can't miss the ball. It's just because you know what happens? Look, I'll explain it very easily. You got Sky Moore that runs the wrong route. Then you got Justin Watson that's trying to make up for it, and he cuts across the middle. Justin Watson is not his 5 to 7 to 12-yard guy. Mm-hmm. He's an outside wide receiver that catches very well 15 yards plus down the field. That's what he is known for in our system. Then all of a sudden, he's trying to help Patrick Mahomes because Sky Moore just ran off to pick his fucking nose on the sideline. And then he's not adapt to catching the ball that quickly. He's just not. He's used to running specific routes and making phenomenal catches. That's what he does. He's not the gadget type of player. He's not the improv type of player that we're used to having. That's just not what Watson is. But he's tried at least, and people are bitching, oh, well, he dropped those 2 passes over the middle. Okay, so fucking what? He was just trying to help because you had another guy that was screwing up. And that's the problem that we're running into. We've got to fix that issue. Sky Moore needs to stay off the field. I'm sorry, but he does. He needs to be in maybe 2 or 3 snaps that are going to be easy, quick, very quick, third down snaps, and be done with it. And that's it. We have personnel to fulfill his position. We just do. Sorry, I had to get on a rant there, and I'm done with it.
Speaking of the Chiefs' receiving options, we've got a couple of them for our hot segment, Believe It or Not.
Believe it or not.
All right, let's just start off with our receiving options. Kadarius Toney has been a non-factor pretty much all year.
Used wrong.
Let's say, I believe it or not, Kadarius Toney has over 3 receptions.
Caleb, you go first.
I believe it. This is the game you're going to have to let the offense and everyone roll. You got to give several different people, see what they can do. Toney can miss people in space. I think they're going to get into where it's going to be a quick, deep pass or maybe just quick screen passes, but they're going to get him the ball. That's how I believe it.
I agree. And I think they're going to use him a little different than they have been. I don't think it's going to be this screen out of the backfield bullshit. I think they're actually going to use him for what he's good at, which they did last year, and he did very well with us. So they need to do that again. And I think they're realizing it. I think he's going to get 3.
I don't think so. And I disagree with that. If he does get it, it will be in the screen game. It will be, average depth of target minus 3 yards. That's what it would be. So I don't think that they throw the ball deep to Kadarius Toney. So if he gets,
I'm not talking about deep. I'm talking about 10 to 15 yard runs.
That's deep for him right now. He's mostly catching screen
right now,
passes,
yes, because they're not using him correctly.
So I don't think he does it. I just wanted to get that out there. I know that he just continues to be a non-factor, and we're to the point now where, to me, he is what he is this year, and I don't see any significant changes coming from him.
I agree. Okay, I agree. What's the next one?
Travis Kelce hasn't had a 100-yard week in a while. So believe it or not, Travis Kelce does what Travis Kelce does, and he beats up the Bills 100 yards and a touchdown.
I seen game maybe like 75 yards and a touchdown. I just don't see him get 100, so I have to say no.
Okay, I'm going to give him 100 yards this week. The reason I am is because I think he had 91 last week, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. It was close. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was in the 70s or 80s, but I know he had a significant amount of yards last week. I'm going to give him 100 yards, and I'm going to give him a touchdown. Whatever it is.
I'm also going to go with the under there. I'm with Caleb. I still think that he easy over 50. But I still think there's a significant gap between the 100. So I think 75 yards is probably just about right. A red zone touchdown.
There we go, 81 yards.
Is where, I think that's where he sits. But that 100-yard mark has just been so elusive for him this year. He got it against the Raiders, right? He broke the 100-yard mark against the Raiders. But other than that, off the top of my head, I can't think of another game.
He's had 300-yard games this year.
Yeah, who were they against?
Yeah, he had 300-yard games. One was 124 yards. I want to say
they're not against the best of the best.
It wasn't against the best of the best defenses. Well, I mean, he did pretty good against the Jets, if you guys remember, right?
He cooked the Raiders. Was it Raiders, Dolphins, and Bears? Are those the 3 games?
That sounds about right.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Those are off the top of my head. Those are the 3 best games I remember. And again, that's like the 3 best the offense looked. So
I'll show you something really quick before we move on. He had 4 catches for 81 yards last week. That tells you about his yak, first of all. But that's on 4 catches. I can see him getting 4+ catches this week. Here's another thing. Philip said it. The Chiefs faced the Bills defense that gave up the 4th most receiving yards to running backs, 559 yards this season. That's a huge thing, because if you're giving up yards to a running back like that, that also opens up the passing game for us.
Are you telling me Clyde's about to go for 8 catches and a $120? Is that what you're telling me right now?
If that happens, I will probably get really mad because I don't want him back.
They're not bringing him back still.
No, they wouldn't. I think he'd probably get 250 yards and they wouldn't bring him back. I mean, he could pull a Derrick Henry and they wouldn't bring him back, but it is what it is.
All right, final one. We're going to move away from the offense. We're going to talk about the Chiefs defense. Kansas City, 3 sacks. They were able to get pressure on Jordan Love last week, weren't able to get home, and the Chiefs pass rush has been a little, how do I put this politely? Not
tired?
Able to finish. Let's go with that.
It's called,
so do the Chiefs make it home and get 3 sacks this week?
No, I just don't see it happening unless Josh Allen. Okay, whatever it is. I just don't see it happening. Knowing this is going to happen if Josh Allen walks into the sacks, literally, that's the only way it's going to happen. He's just too elusive. This is a game where you just got to control him and make sure his yards after he runs, you just got to stop him.
I think it's going to depend on 2 things. And I like what Philip's saying. I was going to bring that up. I think it's going to depend on if Minihue is playing, because he was out last week. If anybody remembered, he got injured during that game and was out. I think that's going to play a big factor. But I think they can get 3 sacks. He said, I'm actually agreeing with you, Caleb. That's his,
all right.
Yeah. I think they can get it, and I think with the way we've done this, if you guys remember, I know the Bills have beaten us, but we have been very good on the corner blitz against the Bills, and usually that it results in a sack or better. So I feel like we can get 3 sacks on them this week.
I'm very interested to see how they play Diggs, whether they put Chiefs are playing a lot of man coverage this year because you have 2 really good corners able to lock down. So I'm wondering if McDuffie sort of travels with Diggs or if they let Snead on him. They've done a combination of the 2 for number 1 receivers all year, so that'll be interesting. But
I think they'll do it again.
Whoever they don't, I assume is going to be doing some of those corner blitzes. But in terms of getting the 3 sacks, I don't think so, just because I think that, one, when he breaks the pocket and is attempting to run, those aren't sacks, right? And so I think that even if he gets tackled behind the line of scrimmage, it'll be hard for it to just statistically count as a sack. But also, too, Josh Allen, despite how big he is, he's very elusive.
Yes.
So,
wait a minute.
I don't know if Kansas City gets his sacks.
I'm confused about something.
What?
If he takes off and runs behind the line of scrimmage and doesn't cross the line of scrimmage and he gets
some
taken
of those
down,
don't count as sacks.
Most of them
I thought it do count as sacks.
Yeah, they all count as sacks. The only time they don't count as sacks, they never don't count as sacks. If it's behind the line of scrimmage and he's not throwing the football.
No, like on quarterback draws, those aren't sacks.
What are they?
Okay.
It's a tackle for loss.
Oh, you mean like on a quarterback draw?
Yeah.
Like a sneak or something like that.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, that'd be the only time it would be that way.
Those aren't sacks.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can see that. Okay, then that's fine. But I feel
So,
like, yeah,
and also,
agree.
how many times, and not just against Kansas City, how many times have we seen Josh Allen like throw the ball while a guy's basically getting a piggyback ride? So,
Yeah,
I mean, he's a big dude. So
he
I just
is.
don't know.
I mean,
Now,
he's a big
on the
guy.
other hand, I do think Kansas City gets pressure. I'm all on board for Kansas City getting to Josh Allen. I just don't know if they're able to bring him down and actually get the sack. So that'll
I've
be
gotten a
interesting
few
for
on
me
him
to see.
before. If anybody remembers him throwing a ball in a guy's face for taking him down in the backfield.
Yeah.
The little tantrum he threw.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel like this defense, they know they're tired. They've been on the field. We talked about it on Tuesday. Somebody brought the stat up. It was like 60 something percent of the time for the season. And that's insane to think that your defense has been on the field that much for 11 games. And I was worried about this. Worried about this. After week 5, I was nervous, thinking, okay, this defense is going to get gassed. And it took until week really 10 or 11, I guess it would be for us. They got gassed. And I saw it in the Raiders game. At the beginning of the Raiders game, they looked terrible. And they didn't look that great in the Green Bay game at the beginning. So it's not a matter of their skill set. It's not a matter of who they're playing. They're just playing too fucking much.
And
You're out on the field too long. It's just that simple. So it's time that, the offense has to give them a break.
You're right.
The offense has to actually take the ball down the field methodically, take 7 or 8 minutes off the game clock, and let those guys breathe. Because we saw it 2 weeks in a row. I mean, at one point in 3 different series, the longest the Chiefs defense was off the field was 1 minute and 12 seconds.
Those 3 and outs after a long drive just can kill your defense.
Absolutely.
Especially when you're going to be playing such a physical game against the Bills.
Correct.
So
you just can't do that, know, and that's where the offense has to step up, and that's everybody on the offense, but that's also coaching. I'm not going to leave those guys out of it because they're the ones that are making the mistakes.
Yep.
They are. They're making the mistakes by not putting the right players on the field.
All right, final segment here. We're going to go with our score predictions. I'm going to go last because I'm going to piss people off.
You always do. So
I know I'm pretty good at that. That's sort of turned into my niche. And just people just don't like my takes.
JP, you go first.
Oh man.
Then I'll go. Then Quentin.
This game, I feel like is going to be a higher scoring game for both teams. I don't think it's going to be like a blowout for either one of them, and I'm probably going to be wrong. But I'm going to go 31-27 Chiefs.
31-27 Chiefs. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 25-23 Chiefs.
Okay.
Quentin.
Dude.
I know he's going to say it. 23-17 is what Phillip has. Bills. Oh, wait a minute. Chiefs 23. Okay, fuck. I didn't see the Chiefs play.
I think that this is a game Kansas City can lose.
That's okay.
I really do think.
What's
I
your
think
score
that
prediction,
Buffalo might come in here. They're just desperate, and Kansas City's offense is still struggling. Plus, we've seen Kansas City, over the last couple of years, basically during the Patrick Mahomes era, all except 1 year, Kansas City has lost a few games like this. Right. And if you remember, there was that time against remember when we faced the Tennessee Titans in 2019, we went through that 4-game skid, right?
Yep.
Where the offense just looked like absolute garbage. And the defense the whole team was playing bad. And I think that this is the game that this turns into the last loss of the season before Kansas City turns on the Jets.
Here we go again.
So I think I'm going to go. Damn, dude, I don't want
to. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I think I'm going to go 24.
Why don't you just call a tie then before you
24-21 Bills, and I'm not happy about it.
Boo!
I know. I hope I'm wrong.
Kick this man off the show.
But I think Kansas City continues to struggle. Bills are desperate. very desperate. And Kansas City, we probably end up with the 2 seed heading into the playoffs.
Well,
I got
we're
nothing to
on
say.
a downer.
I know. I'm a
it's
doubter.
realistic,
I'm a
though.
doubter. I'm a doubter. Hate me all you want. It's how I feel. That's my job here.
I got nothing to say.
All right. Oh, I guess
I
that's
hope I'm wrong.
much.
I hope we get
I
on
hope
the
you're wrong,
show
too.
Sunday after the game is over and everybody is like in my mentions and is on the show just yelling at me in the comments. Please do so.
Hey, look, Fizz has got 21-24 Chiefs. Bucker wins it.
That'd be nice.
It would be nice.
I'm okay with that. Now, the Chiefs have given up one time this year. They've given up more than 24 points. Two times they gave up 24 points. Every other game prior to that was under 21.
I know, but Kansas City just their offense and this whole linebacker situation is a bigger deal than I think some people are making it out to be.
Here we go. So Rashee Rice is motivated. He's 8 catches away from having most catches by an Andy Reid rookie wide receiver and 2 touchdowns for having the most touchdowns. 322 yards away from beating D-Jack's 912, which I think he can absolutely get in the next 5 games. There's no doubt in my mind he can get 322 yards in 5 games. I feel like he can almost get more.
Thank you for the support there, bud.
He said it's a wonky season for sure, Q. It is a wonky season. It's a weird season. It's just flip-flopped. It's frustrating. But I think Bucker
My
makes
fantasy team would appreciate a 60-plus yard field goal.
That'd be nice.
He's already made one, so.
All right, that's my thoughts on the game.
As long as you got thoughts, it's all that matters. All right, then. Well, as long as you don't have nothing.
Yeah,
we're all good.
That's what people come. People. You guys are like the icing on top of the cake. I'm the whole damn cake.
Okay,
I'm the main. Right, I'm the main event.
How about this shit, Caleb? What the fuck is going on around here, man?
I guess we got the payment visit.
What happened, man? Well, anyway, we appreciate everybody for joining. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Go to the PSF app. We do live game casts during the game. Make sure you join. It's a lot of fun. And you can cuss, holler, and scream because there's nobody to tell you can't. With that being said, we will talk to you guys again Sunday after the game and during the game. Peace out, everybody.
See ya.